I was excited before leaving Nigeria that I'll be traveling to the UK for the first time. And being in the UK has been wonderful. I've been exposed to a lot of teaching ideas, and the research skill has been wonderful for me. The not so good part is the kind of the sense of belonging. Being an international student, especially the department I'm in, I'm the only black student, the only black female, let me put it that way, in my class. So I felt a bit withdrawn. I didn't really feel that sense of belonging.
Can you tell me about how your study experience has been generally?
Well, I mean, it was a 1 year course and the pandemic kind of started, so rough, kind of rough.
Apart from the students who are the same scholarship with me, right? The other set of students that I have in my class are mostly Chinese students, Taiwanese, and the rest. Most times when we are like going on the road or maybe trying to, in between, those 3 hours you have when you're not having lecture and you just want to hang out and stuff, they don't choose to go out with you or with me, sorry. They don't choose to go out with me. They just, want to be on their own, and yeah, it's not. Maybe another reason is maybe because I didn't live on campus. I live off campus, so sometimes they want to go to their hostel, right? And I know two girls who live on campus and they just go to their accommodation, or sometimes the other one goes to accommodation. So I felt a bit withdrawn, like I was just on my own.
I think if I don't do the masters now, I will not do it again, because I think this is my final point in education. After this one, I'm done.
I'm doing my master's in biotechnology. Yeah, I mean, when I first chose the course, I thought, yeah, you know what, this course is gonna be it for me, because I finished my undergraduate, left, came back to education. I'm thinking, this is the course, but when you get into it, then you start feeling a different vibe. Especially like during this time, like it's difficult to actually study to get motivation to do it. I don't have motivation for it, to be honest. Plus, it's not what I expected it to be, so I'm just vibing.
I've met a lot of people that are not Nigerians, and then sometimes on internet, sometimes physically, and then I've also had reviews from people, from my friends and everything. They tell you that, okay, don't tell them that you're a Nigerian. But for a start, don't tell them that you're a Nigerian. Just tell them, try and avoid that question. When it comes later on, you can then, when they try to understand you better, then you can let them know that you're a Nigerian. This is because a lot of times when people realize that you're from Nigeria, it gives them, I think, to my own understanding, I think it gives them two different perspectives. Some of them see you as street smart, as a very smart person as well. And then other people see you as a very deceitful person, very untruthful, very unloyal, and that you're basically there to cheat them.
I go to the chaplaincy for mass every Sunday. I didn't know there was a parish just next to the uni where I could go and meet all the parishioners and married couples and all. But I was going to the chaplaincy where it's mostly attended by students. I still felt withdrawn. Even those in the executive, they really, mingle with me. Not just me, even my other friend who's also from Nigeria. She once complained to me that they didn't actually, talk to her at times when they see her sitting at the chaplaincy to study. I know at times when I'm just walking around Warwick Uni, the campus area, and I see these students who are also Catholics that will go attend mass together at the chaplaincy, they rarely, say I.
In my social life, I've actually tried to keep my circle around around people that are of the same background, people that we have understanding of ourselves, because I don't want a situation where, okay, to be honest, I have this. Maybe I'm an overthinker, but I feel like I don't want to give anyone any chance to get me into trouble or get the person into trouble for any reason. So if I'm going into a gathering and then I'm socializing and I see that you're not really cool with me as a Nigerian coming close to you or relating with you, fine, keep your distance, I keep my distance. You're not the only person in the system or within that side. So I can literally relate to other people and I don't mind. So I literally try my best to keep my circle around people that are of the same heritage as me and people that understand me.
There is this doubt people tend to presume when they see that you're black. I'm not supposed to be bringing up this black racism thing, but it's a thing I've realized. It's a thing that's actually affected my sanity, to be sincere, because most times I just want to make myself, I just want to what's that word? To keep reassuring people that this is not who you think I am. If tested someone more than once, I don't think you need to keep testing the person, because you may push the person to the limit where the person will just feel depressed and just want to give up, and that kind of feeling, if you understand me, because I was pushed to that limit, and at some point I just felt I'm not gonna break, I'm not gonna kill myself whatsoever because no one seems to trust me or they're just trying to test to know who I am. I'll just ignore.
If you think about everything that is happening in the world right now, especially in the Western world, you look at like what happened to George Floyd and all these things that have happened in the past, and then wouldn't that make you feel that, my guy, if I'm back home, I would never experience this in my life? If you might experience every other thing, but if somebody comes to challenge you, be like, oh, Benny, calm down. Like you know you're at home, but here you can't really. Like when you think about, my guy, that thing can happen to you, like not in that, but you're not sure, like anything can happen to you. Like as a black person, you never know what can happen to you, even though it's not this. I don't know if I don't even want to speak about if it's the same in the UK or the US, but it exists here, Sha. So it can happen to you. I mean, what I'm talking about, let me know even racism can happen to you, So when I think about stuff like that, I'm just like, Nigeria is better. I'd rather not face stuff like that than, because I was talking about it to my brother the other day. I was like, sometimes you feel like you're denied some certain opportunities or some certain things because you're black, but sometimes when you get it as well, you're thinking, am I getting this thing because I'm black? It's like, am I getting this thing because I deserve it, or am I a tick box activity? So when I think about stuff like that in my head, Benny, and that's like, come on, take your bag, let's go home. Nobody can tell you all these things. But when I have money, I'm coming to Nigeria and I'm investing my money. That's where home is.
Do you have any fears about the future?
A lot. Like, what if there's no point? Why should I not give up? What if everything is for naught? What if I'm not the hero I think I'm supposed to be? What if I'm the villain in this story? What if I'm I'm the problem? Things like that. There's this feeling I get when I try my best and I'm shut down. I hate it. And because of that, I'm like, I'd rather not just try at all than try my best and be ridiculed for it or mocked for it. It's like, you know, it might you try your best and you write this exam, but yeah, you still get the lowest score. But it was your best. You know you read for 1 week. You know you tried, and your teacher is kind of laughing at you like, oh, look at this Olodo, look at this, look at this dummy, or something like that. And I hate that feeling. Like I really tried here. I gave my all, and it was for naught.
Being in this society, I kind of feel a bit withdrawn, and I have to like give a different attitude. I have to take on a different character for myself.
What does that look like?
I'm this kind of person that can be loud, okay, very, very, how do I put it, jovial, okay, lively. But being in this society, I have to be calm. I just feel it's what others do, so I have to pretend that way, even though I don't really feel comfortable acting that way. But as a result of what I see others do, I'm not doing it, okay. But I still don't feel comfortable, and I think that's part of the reason why I miss Nigeria.
Would you return to Nigeria?
No, no. No, there's nothing for me there.
Why is it?
As someone with a part in making video games, I really do. From my analysis, we don't really have the best. We don't even have anything when it comes to making video games in Nigeria. And I don't want to scale down my plans because of Nigeria.
If that changed, there were opportunities, professional opportunities for people in your field, would you want to go back there?
No, not really. No, I feel like I've tired out of the culture, the mindset of these people. I'm not a fan of how they think, how they critically analyze things. I do not like the things they say, the things they think. I'm like, are you serious? Like, you know.
We're coming out today to make it very clear that we want nothing to do with SARS. The Nigerian system, as it is today, is not fit for purpose. Is that correct? Yes. Is that correct? Yes. The Nigerian system today does not favor the young people like me and you. The system today does not allow people like me and you to thrive in a society like that. Many people who are here, if they ask you to go back, you would not want to go back. You know why? Because it is not fit for purpose.
I believe everyone is as pained as I am to have to read out just few names. But please, from your heart, I want from your heart. This thing could have been anybody. It can be your uncle, your brother, your sister, your mother, your anybody. They don't care. They just want money. They don't care about any human being. I'll say the name. Please, once I say this name, from your tummy, shout NSAS. It's too much. Timo Isiak. NSAS. Sleek. NSAS. Ayomi Ayomide Taiwo. Peter of Rome. Chika Ibeku. Chubike Anams. Ifoma Abuku. Christian Onigbo. Emmanuel Ebo. Victor Matubuko. Chidi Odinawu. Stephen Agbayim. Tony Oluama. Tiamiu Kasim. Muswab Samani. Kolade Johnson. Onovo Matthew. Chinedu Ani. Precious Odua. Richard Gora. Chijoke Ilonya. Linda Igwetu. Daniel Teller. Harry Ataria. Johnson Naimeka. Femi Bello. Chima Ikunado. God Gift Ekerete. Gabriel Owecho. Tina Ezekwe. Tony Zita. Modebayo Awoshika. Daniel Adewuyi. Chukwuemeka Matthew. Chika Ibeku. Asomaka Maduego. Rinji Bala Uziel. Joseph Enyode. Anita Akpasin. Chubike Daniel Ikeguchi. Ifeanyi Ozo. Chinedu Meniru. Augustina Arebu. Anthony Wokike. Paulinus Ogbonna. Ekena Isaac Megbe. Emeka Ojinze. Ademola Moshood. Ismaila Ayinla. Miracle Sunday. And Joy Ndubweze. NSAS. When? It's okay. Enough is enough.
Feel free to accept or decline the next question I'm about to ask.
Okay.
There's both are absolutely fine. I'd like to ask you about how you responded to the NSAS protest last year.
Well, even for the fact that I was in the UK, I was not physically in Nigeria, it was one of the most traumatizing moments of my life. To be honest, one of the days the whole NSAS protest was going on, I think the bloodiest days, the next day after then, I was at work and then took out my phone, went on Twitter, and Whiskey tweeted one video, and the moment I saw that video, I was traumatized. Like, I was literally panting. Like, I saw civilian, I don't know if it's a military personnel or so, but he literally shot someone and then aimed at another person and then shot another person again. And then he jogged off from there and then they shook hands with the other person, like, well done job. That was literally like the most scariest thing I've seen. Like at that moment, I felt so traumatized. So the NSAS protest, to be honest, it actually slowed down my dissertation writing because I had to take a break for some time. You can't mentally set yourself in pace of writing a dissertation when you're literally scared of what's going on at home. You have families and friends in literally every part of this crisis region, and then you're worried sick about what's going to happen to them. So it really affected me to an extent. So not just people that were in Nigeria that were affected, people in diaspora as well were literally affected by this and by the NSAS protest?
Obviously, 20th of, was it October? When that happened, yeah, the shooting of some protesters. I don't think I have any words to describe how I felt. I remember when that happened, I was on my way from Warwick, this building actually, and I was going to Tesco. And I can just remember just crying on my way, crying. And I'm sure people just looking at me like, is she okay? But I just felt like an innate sadness. I felt so sad. I felt so sad because it shouldn't have happened. It definitely shouldn't have happened. Like, these were innocent lives, and you killed or they died because they just wanted a better life for themselves and for their future generations. It did not make sense. They didn't have to die.
After that, for weeks, my spirit was down. I wasn't mentally in a place to do what I wanted. I was down in a lot of ways. I couldn't focus on things I needed to do, like graduate opportunities that were coming up because my graduation was soon. Wrapping up my dissertation became a struggle. Like, I literally only had a few hundred words, and I struggled to finish it through. I was just, when your spirit feels like beating, that's how I felt. And I wasn't even there but I wasn't physically there, but it was just a cruel reminder of what reality of Nigerians can be. And I'm not even home. I'm relatively safe in the UK. I have things going for me well here, but my spirit and my heart was still with people back home. So that was very hard. It was a pretty tough period. I can't imagine people who are physically there or people who lost friends and family there.
So because of that experience, I was not able to focus on my studies to start with. I was not able to focus on my personal engagements, my social engagements. I couldn't interact with people properly. I met a couple of people, but I may as well have been absent because my mind was elsewhere. I felt numb. I felt emotionless. I felt dead on the inside for I'm not sure how long, maybe 2 weeks or more, or a month. And I couldn't write my PhD, my thesis at that time. I couldn't do anything. All I could do was wake up, go through the day, go to sleep, wake up. I do that on repeat. So it was a really negative period for me, and not just me, but a lot of Nigerians that I had around me as well. So I wasn't the only one feeling this. A lot of people felt this way.
Hey, now my mom used to say that I should not make it too watery. I failed already.
What are you making?
Akamu.
I think when you leave the country and go to other countries that are at least doing things for their country, that things work, you get angry at the Nigerian system. So for me, I was happy to see that people woke up, and it was not about my religion, it was not about my tribe, it was more of, I'm a Nigerian, I'm tired of this. And in as much as it may have started with police brutality or the Me Too movement against raping girls and all the rest, it just went into a beg, let's change the whole culture of things not working. And it's as if the way I picture it in my head, it's as if a child dared to start walking, and the adult, a giant adult, just was like, what? You dare to walk? And just put his shoe down. I don't know if you've seen this Burna Boy Monsters You Made image. I think the graphics for it or something like that. The poster. So he's lucid, like he's there with the leg looks really big. Yeah, there's a way the foot looks big. So that's how I picture it in my head, that these politicians and the elite, yeah, even if they are not in they don't have any political office, but they are also, behind the scenes. They just like, people want to wake up and fight for your right there. People know what is your right there. Okay. And they just quashed it and see the whole place is in a terrible situation. It's heartbreaking because it makes you think that things will not change, really.
Be on the vision. And what is that vision? That vision is a new Nigeria. That vision is to end SARS. That vision is to end injustice. That vision is to end inequality. That vision is to end oppression. We must not give up.
And now we are going to be having some music. So just hang around. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
We are humans first before being Nigerians. We were just fortunate or unfortunate rather to be lumped in one place and called Nigeria. You know what I'm saying? But first, we are humans. And that human dignity, and the freedom to do things, fundamental things that you are supposed to do should be guaranteed by the Nigerian state. But in Nigeria, the human life is seen as a chicken. In fact, it's even more easier to kill a person than to kill a chicken, I think. So we have to begin to see things as a Nigerian problem, not as a northern problem, as a southern problem, as a Christian problem, as a Muslim problem. We have seen how religious crisis has consumed us. We have seen that times and times and times over, and we are not learning. We have had religious crisis in Kaduna. We have had tribal and ethnic crisis in Jos. We have seen Hausa community lynched just recently in Port Harcourt. In Enugu, they have burnt a mosque. When you begin, one thing, the problem I think is, if you are an Igbo man, for example, and you just decided to go and burn a mosque that belongs to a minority tribe and religion. We have Igbos all over the north. What you are subjecting them to further danger, because if the other side decides to apply the same thing you did here, it's not going to end well.
Once an idea has been planted, it cannot be stopped. And the idea now people have had is that people can believe that, there's possibility that if everybody takes responsibility, we can have accountability straight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We can have clean. We can have healthcare. We can have sanitation everywhere. So my own focus is don't we agree that it's a waste of time trying to fix something that once you make an attempt, because that's what happened. Once we try to make a correction to the old system, like the traditional way, fought back and fought dirty.
Yeah.
So instead of us focusing there, why don't we go to what's the new one now that life is a race. They've handed over something that's not good. It will not be the best for us to hand over worse. We should give our children an advantage. So what our parents enjoyed that was an advantage, they passed on disadvantage. So we would then fail if we pass on disadvantage.